now what did I do? Oops. My bad.
Having phone issues?
No, I apparently have not used the Skype recently to call out to a phone number, and it does things differently now. So I was like, where am I getting a phone call from? And I'm like, okay, wait, click. And now it's stopped. Okay, that's me. Oh, whatever. I just can't figure things out, apparently. Technology and I don't get along very well.
Technology.
Right?
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, right.
It kinda feels like I'm dying on the inside. It kinda feels like I've been trying to get by, and I've been this way since day one. I don't need no medication, no, I don't need no drug. Or maybe I'm different, and maybe my ADHD got me tripping, and maybe I'm just everything that you missing, yeah. I feel like I'm dying inside. Why do I think crazy? Someone save me. You can't blame me. It's my ADHD. Yeah. My mind racing, I've been paranoid. Overthinking, maybe that's a voice. Don't cut me off like I don't have a voice. I think I was born.
Well, I guess that's what happens when you forget that you've turned off the phantom power to your microphones. Welcome, everybody, to the MBM podcast. My name's Matt House, and I'm your host. And thank you for joining me very much on this episode. You're going to get lucky. This week, we're doing not only one, but two. Tonight, we're going to be speaking with John Schultz from Element RC and Team Associated, also a good friend of the podcast, and myself, of course. Looking forward to talking to John, catching up, seeing what's been going on in the wonderful world of RC for him. You know, maybe touch a little bit on his history to refresh anybody who, maybe has forgotten who he is. But yeah, I can't wait to talk to him. Of course, he went to the Vegas race with his son, Jonathan. So, definitely going to hear from him, I'm sure. Later this week, we'll be recording another show with a couple of local racers and our good friend Rick Seffrud from Gone Banana Racing Skins. Joel and Chris will be joining me in studio, so I'll have some I'll have a post posted for you guys to ask questions to us, especially for you guys locally that want to, mess with us, pick our brains, that kind of stuff. We're totally up for it. But before we kind of get into the show and everything like that, I do want to do a little bit of housekeeping. Congratulations to Tyler, of course, co-creator of the NPRC. Ran his cash race in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago. It was a huge success. I believe it was like 42 or 43 guys showed up. Whole lot of money was on the line. One guy took it home. It was really cool to see that many people show up and support it, and it'd be such a huge success for him. That was awesome to see. Of course, coming up here starting April 17th, which is the Friday, April 17th, all the way through to Sunday, April 19th, is going to be the 20th annual Spring Fling RC race down in St. Ignace, Michigan at Quaden Casinos. Hopefully you guys will come and join me. I'm going to be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, practicing all day Friday, racing Saturday and Sunday. Hopefully the weather cooperates and maybe a couple of us can have drag races outside, maybe inside if we can somehow convince Casey to let us use the straightaway. No guarantees there, folks. Maybe. But I look forward to it. Of course, that's another big thing that's made a turnaround here locally in the drag racing scene, I guess, anyways, is because of Associated's release of the DR10, which I know they haven't shipped yet and none of that stuff's happened. So it's kind of frustrating for a lot of guys that are waiting for them. I'm one of those people waiting for them. I'm sure they are coming. I know there is a delay because of the whole coronavirus and all that wonderful stuff. So have no fear. They will be coming. I'm sure we'll be addressing that when we talk to John today. But again, a couple things locally that started happening with the NPRC stuff. I never started an NPRC page because I knew pretty much a lot of the big racer people in this area that raced like I raced and might have interest in it. Nobody really seemed to be grasping to it. But just as it become more popular in the in the realm of RC to begin with, it's slowly catching on. So I got an NPRC Northern Ontario page started up. Of course, I've made some posts on my Northern Ontario RC Drag Race Association page. I know it's a terribly really long one. I'm just going to have to abbreviate it, and that's what it's going to be. But I've been making some posts on there. I'm going to be putting on 4 free races this coming season. I just have a Traxxas DTS system, so it's not going to be any fancy like professional timing, but it's going to be 132 feet. It'll be set up. Everybody will be able to have runs with one another and experience it and have fun. That's the whole goal of this year, is to show everybody how much fun it can be, and then maybe we can find a permanent home, location, and worry about all that stuff as more people get involved. But for now, that's where it is. It's getting exciting locally. Believe it or not, I have the Roy Anderson Engineering spec chassis on the bench behind me. I think it's going to get cleaned up, and it might just end up becoming like more of a show piece for now. I don't want to get rid of it because I do have a feeling that a couple of guys might like that aspect of it, like the small go-fast cars. So I want to keep it around for that. But yeah, what can I say? I'm just looking at it. That's why you guys can't see the video. Eventually, that will come to the podcast, too. We're still working on that whole aspect of it. That's going to require a huge PC upgrade. That is mucho dineros. Right now, we're making it work with a few things. Fortunately, I got a MacBook Air gifted to me to use in the meantime, so I got the ability to do some video editing on some files that I can't touch on a PC yet because there's no software for it. Don't buy a GoPro Max if you don't have a Mac and want to edit that video. You can do it on your phone, but it's just... what takes me like an hour on my phone takes me 10 minutes on this MacBook. And the MacBook can't even play the videos like smoothly, believe that or not. But yeah, tonight we're going to talk to John. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a minute since I've had John on here and been able to pick his brain and ask him a bunch of questions. So we're going to get him on here. We're going to talk that. I'm actually looking forward to talking to him about Element RC stuff. I kind of have this envision of a build that I want to do in the back of my head. So I'm going to ask John if it's even remotely worth me putting my... I know he's going to say yes anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But in the meantime, we're going to step out. We're going to play a little ad from one of our great sponsors. Of course, we are so delighted to have so many of the sponsors that we do have here. We're so very, very fortunate, and we want to make sure that they're all know that and thank them very much. Of course, Tekin, huge shout out to Tekin, huge shout out to Gone Banana Racing Skins, MKS, Cow RC, Max Amps, Team Associated, 920 Designs, to every one of those, RC Life, any one of those manufacturers that have come on and supported the podcast, and me, thank you very much. We appreciate it. But we're going to take a break, let you hear an ad from probably our good friends over at Cow RC, and we'll be right back. But before we go to the break, I actually need to remember to tell you all that Cow RC Heath over there, being the awesome person that Heath always is, has allowed the MBM podcast to give away a prize pack. So we're going to go ahead and at some point, more than likely it'll be in the next episode, but maybe at some point in this episode, there will be the answer. And at some point, I will put up a post with the hint. And all you guys got to do is find the answer to that. So hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of the show. I'll be back right after this wonderful word from our sponsors.
Cow RC, the radio-controlled maintenance king since 2008. Providing the RC community with the world's best pit mats, part trays, performance aerosols, and much more. Through smart design, superior performance, and 100% made in the USA. Cow RC products are a real value. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Follow Cow RC on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Or order direct at cowrc.com. Save 10% with code IMOVE. That's code IMOO. Cow RC. Maintenance King.
I don't think I should be allowed to have technology by any stretch. Thank God I don't do this thing live. Like I don't think I have the production quality to be doing this kind of thing live. We're back, everybody. It's me, your host, Matt Hausen. Of course, we have our guest on with us, good old John Schultz from Element RC, Team Associated. Where do you not work, John? Is that list shorter than the places you do work, or?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no. No, I'm, that's it, right now. That's all I plan on doing for the rest of my life right now, so.
Well, that's good.
Enjoying it here, so it's been awesome.
Well, I kind of like it because it seems to be ever since you went over and, we're full-time there from the old place, the stuff that's coming out of there is incredible. Like, I know it's not just you. I know there's a huge, a team of people besides yourself, but I like it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm really enjoying it over here. It's really a family atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's really awesome here. Everybody here that works at Associated Electronics is an enthusiast. Everybody from the president all the way down. We all have some way, shape, or form the RC bug. So we have world national champions. Yeah, everybody there is an RC enthusiast, which is easy to explain what we need to do next,
Yeah, right. You don't have that rigmarole to try and explain to a corporate suit, and I hope nobody takes that personally, but you don't have that big separation that tends to get there when you get into these larger companies that start, becoming really big, and they need that kind of like system to operate, you know what I mean? So it's really refreshing to know that it doesn't matter who you're really talking to within a management person or within a person in general over there, that they know the hobby. You're not doing
Mm-hmm.
Come on, for the last 6 months, this has been happening. They're seeing it, they're acting on it, and that kind of pushes us. Actually, for those that don't know who we're talking about, of course, Element RC, Team Associated, John Schultz. Before we go too far, John, let's remind everybody, why are you so... I'm going to say it. Why are you so obsessed with RC? Because you are obsessed with it. You've made it your career, and a damn good career of it at that, in my opinion. At least from what I've seen the last 5-6 years that I've known you. So, why RC? What bit you so hard that it was like, I have to do this all the time?
I grew up in a racing family. Even though we had a split family. My mom and stepdad was over here, and my real dad was over there. My real dad raced stock cars,
right,
and motorcycles, and my stepdad raced sprint cars and drag racing. So racing was always in my blood. I've always wanted to race something, but growing up, and you don't have that kind of money to race,
right.
So I found RC cars back in the mid '80s. My first car was the Tamiya Frog. I mean, that was the car to have back then, the Hornet, the Frog. And I found a local racetrack, and that's how it all started. And it's been, it's been awesome ever since. I have raced motorcycles. I have done some other things, but the RC it's always been there. And my passion for it is just, it's very strong. I met my wife at an RC car track.
Really?
30 years ago,
Okay.
Yeah. And it's not just, I'm focused on off-road, or I'm focused on rock crawling. Anything RC, if it's plane, trains, cars, whatever, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Very intrigued. And I don't like just doing one type of racing. I like to do it all. And if I didn't have to sleep, I would probably race more. Right now, right now I race a little bit of off-road here and there, but my main focus has been no prep drag racing and rock crawling. And it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. it's my drug of choice. I don't drink. I don't smoke. It's RC.
That's John's RC. See, John's wife doesn't have to worry about him going to the casino and losing their life savings, but she has to worry about him coming home with a hobby shop's worth of spare parts and new kits. And hey, check this out. This is really cool.
She gave up years ago. I mean, I have a 3-car garage. I have a room. I have an attic, and I have a 12x12 shed in the back. And since I've been doing it for so long, and I collect RC cars, I don't even know what I have. People ask me all the time, how many cars you got? Honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah,
not even a smidgen. No clue. But I have everything.
Yeah, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Well, because you and Jonathan you've done the one cell door slammer, pro stock racing, like that kind of drag racing. So I'm not, and that, man, building those cars, that's not just your average, build somethings. Those are build them. You know what I mean?
You have to, yeah.
I think they're the closest thing you can get to, what building a kit would have been back in the early days when you build a drag car, because there's just, don't get me wrong, now you can order the, turnbuckles a specific length and you're not using threaded rod and, that kind of stuff is a little more convenient to make the look of it, but you're still, cutting down an axle to length if you're trying to narrow it, you're still I was overwhelmed by that because I'd built a couple kits and then I ordered this spec car and, I got Tim and Todd and those guys helping me, build it as best they can, but I'm having to do it. And I'm going are you guys sure that I should cut this much off of it? Cause it feels like that's a lot to be cutting off of this.
Right. Or yeah, you take your $100 and whatever motor and cut the into the shaft coming out down so it clears the. Are you sure I want to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That sometimes it's a little yeah.
it's a little crazy. So with all of that being said, can we get into the history of how you get in and how you are at Associated? Because I know your history at Associated, spans your time at Axial. You know what I mean? I know you had history with them. You know what I mean? Because your son was racing for them. I believe you were racing off-road cars, via them that way. So I know the relationships developed over a number of years. So how do you go from that to working there?
Well, I used to work for Caterpillar, and I used to be an outside sales rep, and
that's cool.
And I made decent money. It was good. It was a job, but I hated it. It was like looking for a job every day because you're outside sales. You're going door to door. It's some people love that. I mean, I love being outside, but it was tough to do that job.
Right.
And I was actually racing for HBI back in the days. I was racing the monster trucks, the Savages, and making chassis. I had my own company called Rock Concepts. And as I got closer to HBI, I met Rodney Wills. And I was doing a lot of work with Rodney Wills before I started working for HBI, doing events and racing and doing that kind of stuff. And they finally just brought me aboard and hired me to do, I don't remember what my title was there, but it's basically I go out and see shops and doing events. I was an event coordinator. I went out and visit shops and educated shops on our products and just was helping HBI grow back in the days with Rodney. And at that time, Sean Ireland was the president of HBI Racing, and we took HBI and made it a very strong company. And things changed, and Sean left and went to work for Horizon, and then Rodney left, and HBI kind of started going a different direction. So Sean Ireland, president of ex-president of HBI, started working for marketing over at Horizon, and he invited me to come over and talk. And so I worked there for a couple of years until Sean left and did his own thing. And then I worked there for another year and kind of did my own thing, which is kind of weird. I had my own company. I went and sold sunglasses. I drove monster trucks. I worked for other companies. I did skydiving events. I did a little bit of everything. And I found out being self-employed is more work than being employed. If you want to be successful and do it on your own, you're going to work hard to make money.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
It's a lot of fun. I traveled. I've been to Sturgis. I've been all over the country. But at the end of the day, it was really kind of it was tiring. About that time, Rodney was at Axial, and they needed somebody to come in and step in and help with R&D and visiting shops and doing events. And so they brought me aboard, and I was there 3-4 years. I did Axial Fest 3 years. I did King of the Hammers for a few years. And it was a really awesome job. I mean, it was like a very family oriented, company, because I knew everybody there. It was like, you could walk into the president's office, say, "Hey, what do you think? Hey, let's do this. Do that." We built that, SMT monster truck that way. We did a few different things that way. And, it was cool working with, the designers over there and sharing thoughts and testing stuff. And then Axial got bought out by Horizon.
Yeah. We were all nervous about that. A lot of us were very hopeful that things would, stay status quo, because Horizon could identify that brand was strong. Now, this is my outside view. I know nothing, so I'm just pontificating at best. But from my look, Axial wasn't what drug everything down and caused the issue that the parent company originally got into. So to me, it was, okay, cool. Somebody stepped in. They got it kind of the way they wanted. Pray and hope that they don't mess with things. And unfortunately, I think even before that happened, nobody wanted to wait and find out. So things started changing pretty rapidly over there.
Yeah, really quick. I mean, like, quicker than I expected it to change. Axial was a lifestyle company, and when lifestyle is, it's hard for you to go to somebody that's a numbers person and say, "Yeah, we're lifestyle." They give you that blank, like, what do you mean? What's lifestyle?
Yeah, they don't understand that everybody in the office kind of lives the life of what the company does. They, in some way, shape, or form. Yeah.
I live it. I breathe it. My Jeep was identical to the Jeep we sold.
Your Jeep.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a whole nother subject we're not going to talk about.
Oh, I planned to ask you about it. Come on, now you post enough photos of it. I got to know.
That's fine. So, about that time, Sean Ireland was at Stoke City. He's been there for a while, and we're all in the same community. We all are friends. We all talk, and so Sean says, "Hey, why don't you come over and talk to us? We have things we want to do." So we went over and we talked, and next thing you know, I work here, and we're working with the people at Team Associated. They're awesome. We're all enthusiasts. When you explain something to a designer, Aaron Lane is, he created the element. Me and him, we work together every day, testing and fine tuning and making it better and better. And poor Aaron, we would come up with a decision to go with, and I mean, the next day I'd be like, I've been thinking about this. Let's try this. And I just saw the daggers in his eyes, like, "John, stop it." Until the day we're still that way. The truck's done and produced, and we're like, we're constantly always trying to make it better, and which is cool, because we're bringing the whole rock crawling, scale trucking, trail trucking, whatever you want to call it, into AE's type of life, which is tuning and twisting and making it faster, making it better, making it, getting that extra couple tenths of a second a lap, even though it's a crawler.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So we're constantly developing this truck and making it better. I can't wait for the next couple of years because we got stuff coming out, and I'm super excited.
Oh.
So
you're not listen.
Yeah,
you guys are not helping me at all. Like you're posting videos of running. I think it's the Rival, the new monster, like bastard.
Oh my god! It's a $300 brushless monster truck that I have been beating the living crap out of.
Okay, yes. First of all, as soon as I wanted one before I seen your video, and then I seen your video, I'm like, okay, thanks, John. Now I need another toy. Because that one is, to me, that's pure toy. Like, that's a take it outside, squeeze the trigger as hard as I can possibly squeeze the trigger, and literally drive it until I break it, and then go and order replacement parts and fix it and do it all over again.
Yeah, the crazy thing is I took it to King of the Hammers. Me and my son beat the living heck out of it.
Oh, I can believe that.
We've been playing with it on our street. We've been taking it to the desert. It rained up here at an event this last weekend, so we're out there.
That's the video.
Skimming it across the water. I haven't broke it yet.
See, I'm so I can't. Here's the problem. The Rival's nice because 10 scale, it's smaller, less expensive. But I can't stop looking at the DB8s though.
Oh, the DB8. That's another thing I have that. I mean,
this is the problem that I have. Like, right? But this is the problem that I have. These are. Listen, John. If you could see my next like because I make RC like build budget lists. If you could see like my next like 12 builds, which let's talk about that. I have 12 builds in line now. My wife even looked at me. She goes, "This is not a healthy thing." And I looked at her. I'm like, I know. I'm trying, but they keep coming up with cool stuff. Well, like, so this one went to the front of the list and right behind the DR10, because the DR10 is pretty much on the priority list of things to happen, and we'll get to that.
Yes.
But my big build is because we're talking about element and everything like that, and the inception of making a scaler, a scale truck for a market for a company that never had one. Then you guys come up with the IFS conversion kit that recently just dropped. So you ready for this build? And I'm going to need some help on it because I think it's possible. But I'm going to build a builder's kit with the IFS, but make it like a pre-runner truck. So not really geared for... Yes. I want to make it where it can go fast enough, but then I'm going to build a really cool trailer behind it to be able to tow... Yeah, you know what I mean? Like an RC10 behind it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love that whole photo. I think Brad is the one that built the truck with the RC10 behind it all like scaled out, right?
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of Brad's little thing?
I'm sure Brad will listen to it, but his middle name is #Dollhouse.
Dude, that man does some awesome work. Oh, I wanted to mention, by the way, this whole scale thing. Have you guys ever thought of, like, maybe just selling the scale garage separately?
Yeah, you buy the garage for $299, and you get a free truck with it.
Free truck with it? I figured you were going to say it. I just love all those photos you guys keep posting. Like, Brad posts photos all the time of just the garage with random stuff in it for a build, and I'm like, dude, you are killing me. Like, I love that. That is so cool. And props to whoever's idea that was. Whoever came up with that idea to make a garage out of the cardboard box that thing comes in, dude.
It was a team effort. It was a team effort. We were all sitting there going, what's the first thing that gets thrown away when you buy a truck? It's the box. So what do we do to have everybody want to keep their box? And about that time, the whole, dollhouse garage thing was kind of really, it was a big thing. Mm-hmm. So we just ran with it, we didn't just do a box. Everything that comes from now until it ends is going to have something to do with scale box, the scale garage, or like we have two different garages out right now. You get a kit that's actually the alleyway to the back side of the first garage. If you get the IFS, it's actually pinballs, games, and signage for the inside of the garage. So yeah, we're running with it. Absolutely, for sure.
Okay, listen. Okay, you shouldn't have told me that. Do you know how bad that is now for me? Because now I have to buy. Okay, so builder's kit, both of the RTRs. Like my wife's going to come downstairs one day, John, and I'm going to have this cardboard city built, and she's just going to look at me and be like, what happened?
Yeah, they keep threatening that they're going to put a scale me in one of the boxes. I'm like, please don't.
Oh, please. People. Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry. That would be hilarious. A scale John.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Can you make me a little thinner, please?
Yeah. Well, hey,
I got
listen.
way too much traction going on right now.
Listen, I've done that whole weight loss thing. It's called getting cold. It's not called weight loss. It's called getting cold. I'm always cold. Always cold. Like I'm almost,
right.
I feel like Tim.
Yeah.
You know how Tim complains he's cold all the time?
Right.
I literally feel like Tim.
Yeah. A couple years ago, I got on a bike and started pedaling and changed my lifestyle, and I lost a lot of weight, and I felt great, and I felt more energetic, and then I woke up fat again, and I'm not sure how that happened.
Well,
so I know when I need to get back on my bike is what I need to do, but with all the travel I've been doing lately and all the events I'm doing, it's really hard, and I just love food, especially Mexican food.
So let's talk then a little bit about the DR10, because now we talked a little bit about the scalar stuff and the crawlers, and of course we can go back to Element if there's anything we've kind of skipped over there. I'm only avoiding it because I've already just looked at the fact that my budget is growing. Like, stop. It's terrible. I'm going to stay away from that. So, of course, let's talk about the huge topic of discussion right now everywhere, which is this NPRC-based style racing or no prep racing, drag racing we're talking about, with 10-scale converted short course trucks to cars. So I'm going to say a 10-scale car now, not an on-road car. This is a 10-scale converted drag car. Okay, folks?
Right.
It's a 10-scale drag car now. That's what I'm going with. I'm going to try and change the lingo instead of calling them converted short course trucks. Where
like I did, instead of calling it a wing, it's now called a big wang.
A big wang, yeah, I love that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I think
Sonoma guys. Yeah.
Every time I said big wang, Tim literally cringed. Because I could see him on video during the last episode we recorded. It was just So where does or how does Associated get onto that? Is somebody like you, because you participate in this drag racing, go to work and say, hey, listen, we need to look at this. I think we can do something here. Because I know you were already building these DR10s out of the DB10 and converting them. So it didn't take long for of course, the Schultzes to figure out what Associated had to offer to basically make one of these cars.
Well, it kind of it started is I travel and I do events, and the drag racing thing has been kind of always in my heart, but I could never make it out to the track. There's only a few tracks you can go to, and then when the snow prep stuff started happening, I'm like, I travel, I can take one with me, and then I started talking to all the shops in Southern California, and every hobby shop I stopped at, they all have custom built drag cars on their counter. So I went back to my office and said, not just California, but Arizona, Nevada. Every shop I went to, they had a drag car on their counter. If not one, a couple. So I'm like, this isn't hobby shop driven. This isn't manufacturer driven. This is consumer driven.
Yes.
This is people that have short courses or buggies in their garage that they either can change the chassis or change the arms and build these with cars they already have. So they're not really spending a lot of money.
Right.
So I started looking through all our stuff. And the first thing I looked at was our SC 6.1 or, that we have, our short course based truck. I'm like, yeah, but the mid motor, I don't think it's the proper way to go for no prep. No prep, it means no prep. And I've raced on everything from dirty roads to slurried roads to hooked up roads. And so we need a car that will actually work everywhere. And a mid motor is a purpose built race car. A mid motor was designed and developed for better steering for the track.
Yep.
So then I looked at our desert buggy, And I'm like, it's perfect. I can put B5's arm on this, and it makes a perfect platform. So I built one, and I put it together, and me and Jonathan made a few bucks, on some of these no prep races, and so I took it in and said, we should make this. And they started looking into it, and the more shops I saw, the more people were building them. And I'm like, we need to do this quick. We need to hurry up.
Yeah, like yesterday, we should have had this done, guys.
Oh yeah, and I'm constantly texting, our designers, hey, hurry up. And Thad Gardner is basically, he was one of the guys, one of the stronghold, long time, worked at HBI for years. He was there until, they shut the doors here in California.
Oh, wow.
And we brought him over here, and he worked, on that thing day and night and made it happen pretty quick. And that's how that all came to play, and right now it's like the most popular thing I've heard. I mean, everywhere I go, it's like, hey, when's the DR, 10 going to be here? When's the DR10 going to be here?
Hey, man.
And unfortunately, we have this coronavirus. It's just been not just killing us, but it's killing a lot of manufacturing across the board, from wedding dresses to whatever, And it's out of our hands. We're doing everything we can, but we can only go as fast as we can.
Well, somebody left a question about that. It was Mike Gallius. He must be a fellow Canadian. He goes, when are the DR10s going to drop in Canada? And are we going to see a kit from AE? After all, we are AE, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You just said earlier, talking about the Element RC side of things, that it takes on the associated tinker, tweak, get that extra tenth.
Yes.
John?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Can we do a wink, wink, nudge, nudge in this scenario, or a maybe something?
I wish I could, but honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
It is a new product for us. We need to see how it's going to go. Personally, I think it's going to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have seen the end of no prep drag race. I think we just seen the beginning.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Now that there is a manufacturer out there building a purpose-built no prep car, I think it'll just get bigger and bigger. I know a couple of the groups I've talked to actually want to do a box stock class where it's a box stock radio, stock tire, stock everything. The only thing you can change is fluid and a body. Everything else has to stay the same. Gearing, everything. So it makes it easy for people to buy a car and go race it without having to put a lot of money into it.
True.
So
Very
as long
true.
as we can keep that going, I think it'll grow. And as soon as somebody comes out with a $600 kit, which, hopefully that doesn't happen, that's going to just start killing the drag racing thing. It needs to stay very affordable and very fun. And I do feel right now our car is one of the best cars on the market.
It looks
for handling
impressive, I
speed
won't
and
lie.
stability. Yeah. Mine and Jonathan's cars, they started off as the DB10. His car is still, DR10. His car is still a DR10. I have done stuff to my car to see if I can make it faster by putting B5 shock towers, B5 shocks on it because they're lower.
Yeah.
To some other stuff, and his car's still faster than my car. So even though I've done all that, his car's still a little bit faster than my car, and we're running the same electronics, the same motor, the same everything. We're running 4.5s with a RIDI 510, and so everything is identical. But it's cool having somebody with you that has the same car.
Yeah.
So we know if we're hurting or helping each other.
Right. Well, for sure. So is it safe then to assume that for most part, considering the DR10 pretty much can use most anything from the B5, like rear motor buggies, and from the SC5 within reason, like the SC5M, I know it was a mid-motor short course truck, but within reason of the SC5M as well, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, within reason with the mid-motor.
Well, that's what I mean.
Motor,
yeah, that's why I said within reason, right? I'm thinking anything pretty much from the front half, shock tower, that kind of stuff, no problem to use, but obviously transmission and stuff like that obviously is out the window. Just curious for those out there that, run Associated and have had them before. So that, is it coming with basically what would be like a stock, like short course shock tower on it then? And like shocks?
Yeah, basically, yeah. The shocks all the way around are the same length. They're the front desert buggy rat rod shocks, front and rear, with the taller shock tower in the back. So it sits nice and low. Now, getting rid of suspension travel is not always the best thing to do with a no prep car because you still want the car to squat and work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the desert buggy, the rat rod, the Pro SD10. It's that platform with narrower arms, turnbuckles, dog bones, and with front shocks all the way around. Still has the same gearbox with a gear diff in it, which we all run gear diffs in drag racing. And I haven't blown a transmission apart yet. So
yeah, I've had a few experiences of people saying they've toasted a transmission or they went through a couple of ESCs, and I'm thinking, I was like, what are you guys doing?
well,
because I've done
drag racing.
I've done some pretty ridiculous things with short course trucks on carpet. Like I'm pretty sure I put a 5.5 turn motor on like a Hobby Wing ESC way back when that should have only been running like a 10 turn motor. And ran the snot out of it, and I still didn't blow it up. It just overheated it, and man, I'm hearing about guys literally blowing up speed controls and literally melting like idler gears and transmissions, and I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Allegedly, yeah. I mean, I have done stuff like taking a 6-cell brushless system in a scale buggy for speed runs and accidentally put 7 cells in it, and I've never had a problem.
Well, there's always that gray area. I think we've all done that at one point or another. It'll run 5S. I didn't know they made those kind of packs. I only had enough batteries to make a 5S at the time.
Right. Yeah, right. A 2-cylinder 3, so it makes 5.
Well, it depends on how good your soldering skills are. You can make more than that, too.
Well, you make it if you take a 4S and put it with a 3S, you have a 7.
Yeah, I know.
Kids, don't listen to what I'm saying. Kids.
Yeah, don't do anything that we're talking about. We have fortunately not learned the hard way yet.
I went through when I was doing speed runs, trying to make the fastest Vorza when I was at HBI.
Mm-hmm.
I did go through the traps at 101 mile an hour on a truck. Just saying. So I know it was a lot faster before it went on its roof.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Well, yeah, because Tim had mentioned that he, you were kind of there with him during the whole Netflix filming and everything like that. And I don't think a lot of people, even too many people, know that are fans of TSR and Tim. Because maybe sometimes people forget that. But let's talk about that for a second. Never mind, because that's RC. What was it like to be able to kind of be around that kind of circus? Like, I know you've done like the monster truck stuff, so you're kind of used to, seeing production crews and that whole jazz. But what was that like for something like that?
That to me, that was a little frustrating for me because I was there to help Tim go 200 mile an hour. There was a couple things that I was a little irritated about. We had tire failures, and I'm like, he has the car. He has it. You just got to do it. But going to Utah, planning this all out, doing the work we did, basically he'd do a run. The crew would grab him and start talking to him. I just walk over in front of him, grab the car, go back to the table, and started working on it, pulling batteries out, fixing whatever I needed to do. So they're there to do their job. My main focus is to get Tim in the 200-mile-an-hour range. So, I brought my electric skateboard so I could run down and grab the skateboard or grab the car and come back, get it ready for the next run. And the filming crew was there to do filming. So I wish we could go back without the crew, with the tires we need, and I'm sure we can put Tim's car well in the 200 range. No problem. And I like to do that. I just wish, I don't know Tim's busy right now, and I know what's going on and stuff, but Tim, we need to go get this 200-mile-an-hour record. Let me know when.
I'm in.
So,
if we need to schedule it that far out, I'm sure I can finagle something to make this happen.
Right? But it was cool. It was cool to see it happen. It was cool to see the filming and stuff. The guy that was hosting, can't remember his name.
The Grant Imahara.
Yeah, such a cool dude. He's a really nice guy. I mean, everybody was cool. It was just, if nobody knows what a production is, it's basically hurry up and wait, basically all day. Waiting for them to get ready, waiting for the right time, whatever. But I just wanted to go and get it done. So that was a little frustrating because Tim has the car. We just got to make it happen. And there was just a couple things that hurt us. Well, there was one main thing that hurt us. It was the tires, and then I guess they were using some kind of filming.
Yeah, that's what Tim was saying.
It was on the same
frequency or something, and it would just cut them out.
2.4 or whatever. Yeah.
That was terrible.
We just need to go back and get it done. So, but yeah, it was cool. It was fun. It was cool to hang out with Tim. For you guys that don't know, Tim drives a Kia Soul. So every time I get into Tim's car, I'm going, I'm in your soul. So, yeah.
I'm going to totally steal that from you anytime I see him now. Oh, that is hilarious.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. So hopefully we can get that record here pretty quick.
That would be really cool to see.
Make it happen.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we've talked about RC. We talked somewhat about full scale, and you mentioned your Jeep, the fact that you were basically driving a full scale counterpart to, the stuff that you guys were making when you were back at Axial. So what's been that adventure been like? Like what brought you to build a Jeep? Because I know you're an outdoorsy kind of guy. Like you said you like dirt bikes. Obviously you love King of Hammers. That's racing. So is that kind of what brought it to? Is the fact that you like that kind of stuff so much, you've got to have one to kind of go and do it all, or?
I've been a motorcycle guy all my life. I ride a Honda 650R, and my wife rides a KLX 300. Jonathan rides an ATK 605. All my kids ride motorcycles, and our bikes are all street legal. So me and my wife will get on our bikes, and we've rode from my house to Vegas, spent the night and rode back. It was 350-mile round trip, all off-road. We've gone.
Oh, I love that you guys can do that out there. Fuck.
We love doing it. And then Rodney, comes to my life, and he's got, his Land Cruiser. And he's like, you should get a Jeep. You should try it out. Or get something four-wheel drive so we can go out wheeling together. And I'm like, I don't really want to, because I already know that what's going to happen. I already know the direction it's going to go.
I can't be content with little things here for you folks. I need to build cool stuff. Come on.
Well, it wasn't even that. It's just like, all right, on our way to Monster Jam, I'm looking through Facebook Marketplace, which is evil.
Yes, it is.
And I see this Jeep in there for $800. And I told Jonathan, let's just swing by and look at it. And I've already been talking to the wife, and the wife says it's got to have air conditioning and heating. I'm like, all right, cool. So on our way down the Monster Jam, I run into this Jeep that's been sitting in this guy's backyard. It was this kid. This kid's lost interest, and the wife got tired of looking at it. So he wanted $1,000. I'd offer him $800, and next thing I know, I have it on the trailer on my way home. So the last thing you guys want to ever do is treat a full-size car like an RC car. Oh, I can just buy this. I can just add that. I can just do this. Next thing you know, I have this Jeep that's no longer $800 Jeep, and I don't keep track of my receipts.
That's a good idea.
I don't want to know.
Nope. You definitely don't want to know how much that $800 wonderful hunk of metal is actually worth.
But I've done, and I do a lot of the work myself. That's a lot of my enjoyment. That's what I like about RC cars. You know, I like doing the work myself. I like tinkering. I love getting new cars. I don't care if it's our cars or competitors' cars. You know, I like to put cars together to see how they function, how they work, you know, and why they did that, you know. So it's always been, I've always loved that part of it. And I think that's why I kind of backed out of racing a little bit and have gone more rock crawling and drag racing. Because if you go off-road racing, you just go buy a B 6.2 and you put it together and you put the tires that work on your local track on it, and you're already going fast.
Pretty much, yeah, for the most part.
I mean, our cars are pretty dang good. So, I mean, I have a B74 sitting here that I haven't even ran yet, and I had it since it came out. So, seriously. So, I love tinkering. You know, that's why the drag racing is really intriguing me, and that's why rock crawling really intrigues me.
You built a stadium truck in between rounds at a race, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I've built lots of cars that are, yeah. I put my ISO together at a yeah, I've done all that stuff.
I don't know how you managed to do that. I cannot put a kit together that quickly at all, for the life of me.
Well, when you live it and you know it, I mean, yeah, it's pretty simple.
I guess, you know? Yeah, when you've been doing it that long.
I still use a manual in front of me, though.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever get away from having the manual.
Because it's not, even though I know how to build it, it's still a reminder on what's going on. Yeah. Especially if you're at a track or you're in an event and you're trying to build something and people want to ask you questions. Of course, I drop what I'm doing and answer them, and I go back to where I'm at. I just have to remember where I was at. So, and make sure I get it all done. I mean, I built cars and had to pull them all back apart because I forgot something. You know, because I was too busy talking. But the Jeep thing is the same thing. It's like I really enjoy doing it. I took it, and there's only a few things I haven't done personally. Like if anybody knows XJs, they don't have a frame underneath them. So I had a frame welded underneath it. It's a kit you buy. It's all welded to the chassis, so it keeps it from twisting. Yeah. And the motor I had built, but I installed the motor and did all that stuff. And the axles I had built by my local Jeep guy. But everything else I'm pretty much doing by myself, cause I enjoy it. But it started off as this $800 Jeep, and now it's on 35s and locked and caged and
looks badass.
And, we just, you know, I have a roof tent for it. And like 3 weeks ago, hang on. Me and the wife, did the Mojave Trail. And that's basically from Barstow all the way to Laughlin, all off road. It was a 3-day trip and, all off grid. And it was awesome. It's so cool to just see a dirt road and take it as far as it'll go and see parts of the country that 99.9% of people don't see. We spent 10 days in Utah, and we stayed in a hotel once just to wash clothes. But we spent 10 days in Utah and just saw the most insane scenery that you could even imagine. You know, going into books and seeing stuff in books, but seeing it in person is just a whole nother level.
Yeah.
You know?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's, and you're out there by yourself, and, you know, it's so cool. That's that. So this whole Jeep thing went from us riding motorcycles and doing this stuff now to spending days out in the middle of nowhere and skiing and spending quality time, just me and the wife, and now the kids are old enough and having a good time. I have a 38-foot motorhome, and I don't think we haven't used it in a few months. We use the Jeep.
Oh, that was the Axial Fest living quarters.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah. We were up there a month.
Oh man.
So I call Revis. Revis was part of my crew at Axial Fest. I call him, about that time, going, "Hey, dude, you ready for Axial Fest?" Yeah, he just hangs up on me. So that's.
Thanks, John.
Because it's a lot of work.
It is, yeah.
It was me and Revis and Sean Barton and Dan Huff and Brad. I can't remember his last name. There was 5 to 6 of us up there for a whole month, and people don't realize, even though it was at the same place, we built trails. We didn't just put flags up. We completely built trails to have 13 courses, and not just building courses, but it's not like going to a normal comp where you're going to get 50 guys going through a gate. We're talking about 2,000 to 3,000 people going through a gate. So we have to make sure that it's going to live that.
I know, it's crazy.
Week-long adventure.
When you think about what was accomplished by craziness.
Yeah. Yeah. And we did it from the morning we got up until the morning, or until we went to bed. And those guys, they put in some hard work. Those are the unsung heroes of Axial Fest right there.
Mm-hmm.
Rodney Wills created Axial Fest back in the day, and I had a great privilege to, do it for a few years, and it was awesome, and the people were awesome, and they're still awesome. I still hang out with those people when I go do events. It's not like, hey, we're friends. It's, when you're in the rock crawling community and your family, it's, these people are awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's good times.
It's definitely for sure a different place. Well, since we're talking about, the whole crawling stuff again, we got a couple questions. And one of them kind of gets into the whole new IFS front end for the elements. So Chris Trudeau wants to know, have you gotten Mr. Lett or Mr. Curtis out on the trails? Feedback on the IFS per the Element Facebook group appears mixed. Are the complaints related more to not understanding how the IFS works and the changes required in setup, or unrealistic expectations that can drive the same way as an original setup and it's just not working? What have you seen from your side of it since it's come out? Because I've seen a lot of the same thing as Chris. I think guys are buying it, thinking they're going to get the same kind of solid front axle performance, and it's not it.
There's 2 type of people out there for the RC rock crawling. There are the hashtag dollhouse people, which is more about scale. They're gonna take their time and go through a trail and make it look as real as possible. They have full people inside. They're really wanting this thing to look like a real truck.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the people like me, which is, I can climb that, and if I can't do it after the first 5 times, I'm going to put a little bit more horsepower in it until I make it. That's me. When we, honestly, and, I'll tell you the honest truth. When we started create and develop on the IFS, I'm not a fan. I don't think it's going to do well. Because it wasn't me. It wasn't my type of driving.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after all said and done, and all the testing I've done with it, and the driving I've done with it, it impresses me. I've gone out with Jonathan. I'll run my Class 2 truck. He'll run the IFS truck, and he'll get through stuff that I can't get through, and we're able to get through because, the center of the axle hits, but the IFS truck would go right through it, no problem. And when I do testing, if I do an obstacle that's really hard, I need to do it 2 more times. Otherwise, it's just a fluke. That makes sense.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So my testing has got to be correct right on. I know it needs to make it through it every time. So for you guys that do run IFS, I'm gonna give you a little secret, and it's gonna call sway bar, and the sway bar goes in the back. You put a sway bar on the back. You put a sway bar on the back of any of your crawlers. I don't care if it's IFS or solid axle. The sway bar
Stop
is
giving away all the secrets, John.
I don't have any secrets.
I'm kidding. I know.
all my trucks I have a rear sway bar on them. And the sway bar really makes the truck work really well. Side hilling, climbing, the sway bar, I have a re-sway bar on every one of my trucks. But the IFS truck, the sway bar really helps the IFS work. But the IFS is definitely an awesome feature. It works good, and plus you want to get the what do you call it? The video games for your scale garage. It's in the box. No, but the IFS is a great addition to a vehicle. If you're looking for that scale look. Also, if you're going fast through bumps, the IFS actually works a lot better than the rear. The rear will actually hop through it, where the front end just floats through it.
I love the idea of the IFS coming out. It gave me the option to finally build a trophy truck, but out of like an associated brand trophy truck.
Right.
Because I won't lie, like, you know what I mean? I'm in this hobby a lot like you are, and I'm sure you see a lot of other manufacturer stuff out there like I do. And our friend Tyler has one by, I won't mention the name, but it's that, Yeehaw Ray. That thing?
Right.
Like, dude, man, one of those that just said AE on the side of it would be like perfect. So, but I know. Don't get me wrong. I know the element that I build will not be that, but you know what I mean. Like, I love that idea. Trophy truck. I can build a scale truck now to tow around some of my stuff that can look more closer to what my real pickup truck does, because my real pickup truck has IFS front end and a solid rear axle. Right. So it feels more at home for me. I love Jeeping. I love that whole idea. But if anybody that knows me, I'm the kind of guy that, listen, I love the idea of going out trail. Like, I like trail riding, but around here, people don't go trail riding. People here go what they call mud bogging. So they go down a trail, they find one little mud hole, and they make it that biggest mud hole they can possibly make it. And if I get stuck when I'm out trailing, I got no problem getting myself unstuck. But I'm not going to get stuck in a 20-foot long, 10-foot deep mud hole. That's not fun for me. I'd rather drive down the trail at 40 mile an hour, bouncing and banging, and you know what I mean, going, okay, whoa, go easy. So I'm not a I'm not a mud bogger. So,
well, see, I live on the West Coast in Southern California, so we don't get mud very often.
Oh, right.
So
yeah, you guys get drought.
All of us is like, we have fire. Is basically what we have.
Yeah.
We have a lot of rock areas. We have mountains that that has dirt roads and that kind of stuff. But we don't rarely ever get any kind of mud. You're more on the East Coast, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. You can't. Yeah, you can get closer to the East Coast than me, but yeah, we're on the Eastern Standard Time. So.
Okay. Yeah. So just like Florida and North Carolina and Georgia, they go wheeling. They go basically mud bogging.
Yeah.
You're going through the wet swamplands and that kind of stuff. And so it's different, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. That's way cool.
So I'm super jacked for the IFS. So another question that Chris had though was, what does your setup look like? How much does it differ from an IFS setup to a solid axle setup? And then he also wants to know what kind of terrain you prefer. Do you prefer rocky? Do you prefer the dirt, or do you just like nice trails?
My setup on the IFS is, it's actually now my Class 1 vehicle. I'll be comping it at the Scale Nationals in 2 weeks. So I actually will be, I feel that the front end works good enough for me to actually compete with at the Scale Nats. So
that's cool.
But it's stock in the front. I'm running the standard oil and all that. I just run a sway bar in the back. The sway bar really, really kind of helps it out. Far as terrain, man, I just like doing it all. I love, I love traveling. I love seeing different rock. I like seeing I like it all. I mean,
so in other words,
mud,
put it in front of you and you will drive through it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not scared. I mean, K&K does their TT7 this year. I've been there for the last couple of years. That is the most awesome event anywhere. If you're going to go to one event, I would either go to Pro Line by the Fire, or if you like to compete, go to TTC, K&K's TTC. Pro Line by the Fire is everything. It's rally racing, mud racing. You can just free crawl. You can. They have comps. They have trails. They have everything. All the manufacturers are there. K&K, all the manufacturers are there, or most of them. But he does it where you have different classes. You have a rock course. You have a mud course. You have a tank trap. You have a hill climb. And that one truck's got to do all of it.
Oh, wow.
So his mud is the worst mud ever.
I'm sure that's the mud that there's videos of you going through. Is there not?
I'll just wrap my truck up in a towel, put it in a bag, and just put it in my suitcase and ship it home. Because it's a complete rebuild. It's nasty.
Oh,
but it's so much fun.
I bet.
Yeah. Yeah, so much fun.
So the K&K one, that one's on kind of towards me on the east coast of.
It's in Ohio.
Yeah,
Lebanon, Ohio.
Yeah, that's way closer to me than California. Because Pro Line by the Fire is in California, right?
Yes, that's in the high desert of Southern California. Yeah,
I know. Tyler keeps talking about that Pro Line by the Fire, man.
Yeah. Well, if you come to Vegas and you're here long enough, it's only like a 3-hour drive.
Yeah, I know. Well, what's kind of funny about that? My wife and I have had those discussions as to what do we do the next time we decide to travel that way, because we have discussed wanting to make it to the, next year's Vegas cash race. So we're trying to throw around the idea of what we're doing. Are we just going to go for the weekend and then come home and, take an extra day or two off work kind of thing? Or do we want to take a whole week vacation and then maybe spend only a couple days there and then maybe go to California and, try to do some stuff with Tim, you guys, and all that stuff, right? Like see like the SDRC, go to OCRC, like kind of get to do that stuff. But then that's where my wife also gets worried, because she goes and she looks at me, she goes, yeah, I'm going to bring you to the one state that is pretty much the RC Mecca for you on vacation. When am I going to get to see you?
Well, if you guys do come out, and hopefully I'm in town this time, because last time you were here, I was somewhere else.
Yeah, you were traveling, I think, for work.
But I can give you a tour of, like a mini tour of Southern California. I can take you to Hollywood Boulevard. I can take you to Beverly Hills. I can take you to Santa Monica, Venice Beach. I can give you guys a good tour of that stuff. I do it all the time to friends that live on the East Coast. So if you're interested in that, we can do that for sure. Then we can take you to OCRC and CDM. See, CDM will be a good place for you to crawl, because she can enjoy the beach as you're crawling on the rocks.
Oh, I like that idea. Well, she usually knows when it comes to going to the beach and me that I need something to occupy my time. Like, I know this is way far-fetched, but it wouldn't be bad if Associated could just find a bunch of boats to sell. Then I would at least have a boat. Because, it's cool and all to bring a crawler to the beach. They just don't swim very well. And the kind of beaches we have, they tend to swim away from you after they get out there a little bit. So.
Now, your beaches are saltwater, right?
No, they're all freshwater, because we're surrounded by lakes.
Oh, so you can't run boats in the ocean.
No,
salt water will ruin a boat faster.
You can if you're really determined to be a super good cleaner and want to spend like your entire life just cleaning and cleaning and cleaning and polishing and cleaning and polishing.
Yeah. We did when I was with Horizon. We did RCX, which was in Long Beach. The water in the pond that we used to run the boats was from the ocean. It was salt water.
Oh, man.
We put everything. We put all the batteries in the boats. We put the lid on it. We taped them shut. Then we put the canopy on top of that.
Yeah.
We went out and ran the boats. We came inside. We washed them off. We took everything out. We charged batteries. We went to use the boats the next day, and we couldn't because all the electronics were fried because of the salt air got inside the boat because of the humidity.
I believe.
Yeah. So trust me, if I could run a boat in the salt water, I would do it because I would love to go out there and just start jumping waves. But it's really corrosive.
Yeah. No, I don't have that problem. Sorry about your luck, bud.
Canada, clean water.
Well, yeah, for the most part. Oh, we have a steel plant. I wouldn't say that much, but anyway. So a couple more questions. We're going to go with Jeff Ramos. I'm saving the best one for last. Jeff Ramos,
okay.
Did you enjoy Crawl Masters event? And then he put in brackets Uncle Schultz. Care to explain?
The ASD guys, like, remember what I was talking about? We're all a big family.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So the ASD guys, they're such a great group of guys.
Well, let's talk about them because I know who they are. I've been following them, like I think back from when they very early started. They have a Facebook page, I believe, right? It's like ASD Crawlers RC.
Yes.
Let's see here.
Yeah, and their hearts are for autism awareness.
Yes.
And they're just good guys, and they put on great events. And like I told them at Crawl Masters, I said, I don't just go to any event, but when I see your name on it, I'll do my best to be here because they're just those great guys.
Yeah.
And so, and right before I get ready to run, they have this chant they do. And I don't know where it started or how it started, but he goes, all right, when I say John, you guys say Schultz. So, yeah, they're going, John, and the crowd goes, Schultz. And I'm like, really? You guys just want to stress me out more before I have to compete? And then they start calling me Uncle Schultz. And I'm like, that just sounds creepy. And then it just
Schultz. Uncle Schultz.
Yeah.
That's kind of the perfect chant, though, John. It's better than... You see what I mean? Like, you can't even do it. You have to be like, John Schultz. John... That doesn't sound... So Uncle Schultz works way better.
I said, that sounds creepy, so then it stuck. Now I'm
Oh, yeah, Schultz. You're stuck, yeah.
But Crawl Masters was a lot of fun. It was indoors. The course was... The first couple of gates were pretty difficult. But we had so much fun hanging out and running the MT10 out in front, and they had dancing rider races, and it was just a good time. Good people. It was good hanging out with everybody. So I'll be back next year for sure. They're good guys.
That's well, I know.
I've been on always.
I know Jeff Ramos posts a lot of their stuff. I know I'm pretty sure he kind of works along with those guys a lot. I don't know the whole story, like I think I know the whole story, but I don't want to say it without being for sure about it. You know what I mean? So, but I've been following them for a long time, and I love what they do as a community because they are community within RC themselves, and they do amazing stuff. Myself, I have a nephew that has autism, so to see them do what they're doing with it is just amazing. So shout out to all those guys. Jeff, I know you will make sure the boys know how much we love them over there, and of course John, Uncle Schultz loves them too. Wow, that sounded
You need to get them on your podcast to talk about them and what they do and all that, because those guys have big hearts.
I'm in on that one for sure. I think that's a great idea. So now I'm going to schedule that up, because now that's the next goal, is to keep doing this. Tim gave everybody 2 episodes last week, so now I figure I'm going to do 2 episodes myself this week to kind of catch up and give everybody a bunch. This is ridiculous. I don't know what him and I are thinking when we get ourselves into this stuff. And I double down on myself, because not only do I do my own show, but I do a show with him too. No wonder why.
Right.
No wonder why I run out of things to talk about.
Well, when you're on his show, he does all the talking.
Well,
he doesn't let you talk.
Well, No, I do a lot of research,
Boom,
believe
Tim.
that.
I just said that.
Hey, man, I have to do a lot of research with that guy sometimes to make sure that I got everything right.
Right.
Plus, I
No,
forget.
we're all just super, excited about what we're talking about.
Mhm.
And he was in his world 2 weeks ago, so he was super excited about the whole. Well, I loved it too. I mean,
Yeah, we haven't even touched on that yet. We're kind of going to speed along because we've had you on here for a bit now, so we don't want to keep you forever tonight. But let's talk about this NPRC cash $100 buy-in cash race in Las Vegas that you and Jonathan went to. What was that like?
it was epic. It was awesome.
Did you expect it to be like that?
No. I left Thursday night, got there Friday, went and visited some local hobby shops, and then we went over and we tested for a couple hours. Our cars were very fast. I think Jonathan made it. He made it pretty far.
I think third round.
What's that?
I think Jonathan made it the third round.
Yeah. And he came over to me after a couple races after. He goes, "Dad, I think that guy jumped." I'm like, "It's too late, dude. I said, you can say something, but you should have said something right away."
Yep.
He goes, "Dad, I'm like," he goes, "I didn't want to be that guy."
You gotta be $100 on the line, man.
Sometimes, no, it was $4,000.
Well, I know, but I'm thinking at that point,
Yeah.
you're just right at that point. You've invested your $100. You've got your $100 out there. Never mind how much you're going to win. So it's my $100, man. If I think somebody's trying to cheat me out of my $100 or my chance, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, ding.
Right.
But he's polite. I get it.
Right.
Jonathan's a lot like I am. He's polite. I've learned how to not be so polite in
Yep.
some scenarios.
What I learned was worth the $200 or $100 each we spent. My car, I know my car's fast.
Mhm.
I've been working on my car day and night. Anytime I can get a chance to make passes, I make passes. I know my car's fast. When I got there, your mind's it's going in so many different directions because you want to be the fastest guy. You don't want to go there being known as being slow which there was nobody there that was slow.
No.
Everybody was fast.
Yep.
So my car was on rails. Me and Jonathan, we were out there running passes, and I'm like, I don't know what else to do. Our cars are good. We went from running 5.5s down to 4.5s. We've really been working hard with the speedos, tuning and all that. Our cars sound like they shift 3 times down the track. The way we have them programmed and stuff. And I went out there on my first throwdown and overgassed it, and I did an adjustment on my car, which let my car leave really hard and spin out half track. And what I did is I adjusted the rear shocks, and I didn't adjust my wheelie bar.
Oops.
So when I got out about half track and the car hit the boost, it basically squatted and unloaded the rear tires, and I spun out. So that'll never happen again. But just showing up with the caliber of guys that was there, we had hundreds of people there on the side, locals coming out to watch, which is really cool. I had the DR10 sitting on my desk or my counter there, table, talking with people wanting to get into it. So that right there is a plus for me. Anytime I can help promote the product, our product and help a segment of RC car racing grow, that's a bonus for me. And especially we're still our car's 320.
Yeah, you can't
with a brushless motor in it.
RTR, ready to go. Like literally put a battery in it. If you buy the one without the battery, because there's 2 options, which is kind of awesome of Associated.
Right.
If you're completely new to RC and you don't have a battery, you don't have a charger, $375 gets you a lipo and a charger ready to go. You can literally charge it and run it. If you have that stuff already, $319 plus applicable taxes depending on what state or province you're in, and you're out the door. Now, These are US based prices. Don't shoot me if you're Canadian. It'll probably be double that. I'm sorry. Exchange sucks.
And and the battery is a 3000 LiPo. It's a good pack. And the charger is a decent quick charger. It's not an overnight wait for it to, your typical cheapy wall charger either. It's a decent charger. So you're getting something that you can actually go out and compete with and have a good time with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you already have that stuff, then you don't need it. You'll use, like that T plugs, you're ready to rock and roll. But that was an awesome time, to see from different areas what guys are fast and how they are fast. The guys from all the guys from Hawaii showed up. Only a couple had a little wing on the back. Most of them didn't even have a wing on the back, and I'm like,
what?
All right, you know how you go to the track and you see somebody new, and you really don't want them to be discouraged and go away. So you really want to talk to them and help them out.
Yeah.
That's how I felt with the Hawaiian guys. I mean, man, these guys are just going to get their butts kicked because, they don't look like, and all those guys are rock crawling guys. They're not drag race guys.
Mm-hmm.
I know them from the rock crawling side. So, and then they go down and they put their car down and they do their first pass. I'm like, all right, these guys have a system. They know what they're doing. And they came out and they proved Hawaii's fast, guaranteed. Those guys, quite a few of those guys went round after round. So that just shows you right there that you don't need a wing to go fast.
Nope. You don't need a big wang.
But you don't need a big wing to go fast. Not at all. And those guys went really fast. And then you had the guys from the Sonoma Effect.
Oh.
Which they're running canards in the front and big wangs in the back.
Yeah, real big wangs.
Basically from the really big wings, and from the very start of the track till the end, they were on the rear wheels. The front wheels did not even touch until they were past the finish line.
Yeah,
it was all wheelie bars and rear wheels. So
that's no fun.
And then Arizona came out and did a really good job. I mean, so it was cool to see all these guys coming from different areas
mm-hmm.
and going fast different ways. So, and I hope it stays that way. I hope, I know there was some rules being changed for the big wangs. I know the canards are not going to be allowed. The canards aren't going to be allowed for simple reasons that they're not safe. Because they're on the front of the car, they're sharp Lexan. If it runs into somebody, it can cut their leg or do damage.
Yeah.
And that's a safety thing altogether. Even though these are outlaw cars, street outlaw cars, we still need to have some kind of rules. And I think the 2020 rules that's been discussed and talked about, I think they're right on without hurting people's creativity towards this whole style of racing.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a big group that want them to look just like the real thing, and then there's the Sonoma Effect that basically want to build low flying jets. So we got to come in the middle and make rules that both people are happy. And what I understand so far, everybody from Florida, East Coast, West, North, South are all agreeing with what the new rules say. So, which I'm excited about. I'm totally excited about. I can't wait till next year.
Yeah. And that's the big thing is, I personally, I just want the cars to kind of look like what we thought with this no prep, which was a no prep street racing drag car. Not these mini fighter pilot looking pro mod thing. And I get it. The rules are so loosely worded, and we did that on purpose to make it easy, very comfortable to get into and everything like that. And now all we want to do is just kind of parity it down a little bit to kind of keep it so that way no matter where you go with your NPRC car, if there's an NPRC chapter
Correct.
there, that class, that
Correct.
NPRC class that hopefully they're still running with those rules, you'll be competitive in. That's it.
No matter where you go. Yeah.
You
no
know.
matter if I come to your house, or you come to my house, right. We're all on the same page.
And I don't think those
You
guys
know?
understand is they totally could make another class for these cars with these bodies with the canard. They can do all that in their local group if they still want, and just have another class. And they don't see past that. Dude, I got attacked in the Sonoma page, responding to Mr. Daniel Judd, who was the builder of the winning car, saying, like, if you guys don't want to abide by the new rules that we're working on, then, like, don't call yourself NPRC. Don't do that. Stop. Don't call us bad guys because you think we're changing rules because we got beat. No. We were talking about putting a limitation to the sides of wings and trying to parity down the rules better long before Tyler's race happened. So don't be like that. And then, when I told them, to me now, everybody from Sonoma, no matter how great they're trying to be, no matter how much they're trying to help, your guys' reaction to my post says a lot about a few people in your group, and that paints that whole group bad to me. You're not going to convince me that somebody from Sonoma is willing to be my friend and wants to help me now because they jumped down my back not knowing me from a hole in the ground. And I explained that to them. I said, you guys don't know who I am, obviously, because there's no way you would be yelling, or I shouldn't say yelling, there's no way you would be saying, basically, suck it up, buttercup, when I'm coming in here trying to be level-headed and polite about it. And that's where it's like, listen, I'm not saying I'm owed anything or they should know who I am. But if they handle a nobody, what I'm getting at is if that's how they handle a nobody, somebody that's a nobody, there's no way they're helping unless you're local, right? They don't know how to help on the internet, I guess.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I was really put off by it.
Right. And, my example, is basically the rock racing. I've watched rock racing start. I've watched rock racing not grow. And the reason why it doesn't grow is because you have all these organizations all over, NorCal, SoCal, Arizona, Nevada, and not one of them, even though they call themselves as an Ultra 4RC, not one of them have the same rules. So how am I expected to go from, NorCal to SoCal and race what I can't because it doesn't match their rules, or I go to the track. What really upset me with them is you go to the track and they don't have a beginner class. They don't have a brush, stock, crawler race class. I don't know if it's changed since last time I was there, but if we make these cars so out of reach, like the Sonoma guys' cars. I'm not saying they're out of reach, but to get a car to go that fast on the rear wheels, that's not easy.
No. And I even tried to say that. Like, a lot of people took a crap on Ricky because he didn't build the car. And to me, it's like, listen, Tim could hand me the radio to one of his cars. It still takes somebody who can pull the trigger and steer that wheel to make things happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
That throttle control, the little infinite adjustments we make as we're driving these things. Not everybody can do it. We can easily dispel that by handing the controller to somebody that's never done it before and say, here, pull this wide open and full send it. They're not going to drive it down there like he did. So I never wanted to take anything away from his win or anything. And I think that's where everybody kind of got their panties in a twist, thinking that, all of a sudden as a large group of, NPRC people that we want to try and make these rules better and and involve all the NPRC chapters to make sure that we're not just going to blatantly change anything just to change it. And Tim's been a big one about not wanting to really mess with them because he doesn't want to constantly be readjusting the rules, because then it's even harder to know what the rules are when they change too often.
Right.
So,
and I'm not taking nothing away from Sonoma guys. Those guys are fast, flat out. I'm not. And as far as support, there's no other group of guys that has more guys racing in an area than Sonoma. And
No,
it's not
absolutely
just,
not. They took it when it
not-
started. They took it and ran with it. Oh my goodness, did they ever? It's great.
you go to you go to Arizona or you go, to Southern California. You're lucky to get 20, 25 guys right now at a cash days. Those guys roll deep 30 to 50 on just a normal race.
Yep.
A normal practice. Those guys are, those guys are awesome. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from those guys. I just want to see this grow.
Me too.
I know I've been talking about a stock box class, and I don't care if they use our car, if they use, certain electronics or certain whatever, but I would like to see a box stock,
like DR10
class.
Yeah.
DR10 class. You can't change the stock radio. You can't change wheels and tires. The only thing you can change is body and fluids, and leave everything else the same. That I would even run that class because it would be good racing. It just every race would be tight and close.
I like it. I think it would definitely work.
So, yeah. So, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. My earpiece has died, so I'm going away.
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry. I was planning to ask you the last question here because it's actually from the wonderful Element RC folks. They're just wondering, John, when do you plan to come back to work?
Never. Maybe when I come back to work. Jeez, what do you think I'm doing?
Nothing. You're not working out there, mister.
No. For the last hour and a half, I've been sitting inside of a McDonald's parking lot.
Oh, look. See, we're
That's
in a
about it.
McDonald's. I bet you've been getting a couple of weird looks, haven't you been?
No, it's McDonald's.
Oh, fair
They're
enough.
probably used to it.
Wonder if he's using the Wi-Fi.
Right? Yeah, it would be the first time I've done that.
Right? I do it all the time because I'm Canadian. I try not to use data when I'm in the United States. So anywhere there's free Wi-Fi is my friend.
Right? Exactly.
Well, John,
I've been to Mexico a few times. So,
a few times, yeah.
Same thing.
I don't want to hold you up much longer because we've been fortunate enough to have you on tonight for a darn near an hour and a half. So what would you like to say in closing? Anything you want to mention or promote at this moment?
Really, I mean, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. The big thing is, everybody out there, just get something RC and go out and have fun, man. No matter what it is, planes, trains, cars, whatever you feel like you want to do to have fun, go do it. Life's too short, even full size. If you've always wanted to go get a Jeep and go off-roading, do it. Life is short. Do it. Have fun. When you're old and in a wheelchair in a home and because the kids locked you up, because I'm sure that's what my kids are going to do. Have stories to tell to other people,
I
good stories.
only know
Repeat yourself
Jonathan
every
out of your
day.
children, so I'll do my best to make sure that he doesn't put you in a crappy one.
Oh, Jonathan's probably the first one that'll put me in a home.
Come on, Dad, we're gonna go out and run the RCs. Okay.
Yeah, why you keep aiming for me?
This isn't Corona Del Mar, Jonathan. It's okay, Dad. We're just making a pit stop.
So, but yeah, go out and have fun, man. Grab it, put a control in your hands, and don't be scared. I mean, if you want to get in off-road racing, go to your local track. Talk to the owner of the track and say, hey, I'm new. Don't be afraid to say that. What do I need to do to go fast? You know, same thing with these in the no prep racing thing. Find out where your local group is. If you're new to this and need answers, I mean, you can find me on my social media. Ask me. Ask, Matt Housen. Ask Tim Smith. Ask these guys. What do I need? What do I need to do? Hopefully we'll have the answers you need. But don't be afraid to ask questions. If you ever at an event, and I know Tim says this all the time, come over and say hi. I always try to make sure that I'm always floating from spot to spot to talk to people, but I don't know why. I'm just John Schultz. That's who I am. I'm nobody special.
You're the John Schultz, the legend John Schultz.
Obviously, I'm just Uncle Schultz now.
Yeah.
But I'm just like everybody else, man. I I put my pants on one arm at a time. It's not a big deal.
Well, there's your first problem.
So-
You don't put pants on your arms, but
Where are you from? Canada?
some days depends. If you ask me in
It
about an
depends,
hour, I could
right?
be from the United States.
Right? But yeah, that's about it, man. Thanks for having me on. It's awesome.
Absolutely. Well, with that being said, we're going to say adios, folks. Thank you very much for checking out the MBM podcast. Of course, a quick reminder for you guys all, if you haven't already, check out all of the sponsors of the show: Gone Banana Racing Skins, MKS, Cow RC, Max Amps, Tekin Racing, 920 Designs, RC Life, and of course, last but not least, Team Associated, Element RC, and the group over at Associated. Thank you very much for supporting the podcast and allowing me and everybody associated with it to do what we do and what we love to do as often as we possibly can, with support of these great manufacturers. Of course, thanks to you, John. Thanks for taking an hour and a half out of your day and chatting with me, and I appreciate it more than you know, man.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
All right. Bye, everybody. Make sure you check it out. Check out John Schultz on social media, Team Associated. Make sure you like those Facebook pages. I'll be back later this week with another episode. We'll talk to you later.